My name is Juan Francisco, and I'm a psychic medium and tarot card reader. I've always been curious about the supernatural, the paranormal, and psychic abilities, and I'm here to share my stories and interview folks who want to share their own stories with us. Let's get to it. Surprise, surprise! Surprise! Back with Third Eyesight a week earlier than I said I would be for 2024. Happy New Year. I was just in the mood to record an episode, and I am so excited to do it tonight. It is actually January 1st right now when I'm recording this. This will come out Wednesday, January 3rd. I was just in the mood. I was really excited, and I felt like recording an episode. So why not release it early and talk about what I'm excited for in 2024 for this podcast. But before we begin, I just wanted to say again, Happy New Year, Happy 2024. I hope this finds you at a moment when you could look back at the holiday season and it was a lovely, maybe, hopefully relaxing holiday season. I hope it was filled with love or filled with peace and serenity or filled with the time you needed to be to yourself or to be with family and friends and loved ones. And if it was a difficult holiday season, I hope that you're feeling okay and safe today. And I hope that you're feeling supported. And if no one in your life has told you or has expressed support for you, even though I may not know you personally, I'm extending my support to you and sending you a lot of love, because I know not everybody had an easy holiday season. One or two people I've talked to had difficult holiday seasons these past few weeks, this past month. So I'm sending a lot of love to you, and I hope that 2024 has some exciting new things in store for you and some ease and serenity as well. So I'm excited for 2024 and what my business, my podcast is going to bring. I think my theme for this year is expansion. I feel like I am ready for expansion. I'm ready to expand myself. I'm ready to delve into new territory. I'm ready to grow not only as a person, and I'm always growing as a person, and I'm also always growing as a psychic medium, and I want to continue growing as a psychic medium this year in 2024. And there are a few things that I'm planning in my head, also planning on my scheduler for 2024 that have to do with my work as a psychic medium that would involve all of you. And I'll get to those things in just a second. But I feel like 2023 was a year for me to delve into who I am as a psychic medium. To be honest, it's pretty hard because I have my day job, which takes up time. And in 2023, I was learning to balance the two, and it was a challenge. I still do not meditate every day, and I really want to get back to meditating every day like I used to a couple years ago. I still don't journal every day either, and I used to journal every day. My mentor that I had in the second half of last year, 2023, she has told me how healthy it is to meditate. And although I'm not somebody who is a stickler for things like that, I don't say that everyone has to meditate every day to be spiritually attuned. I do know for me, even though I feel that way and I want to feel that way with myself, I want to tell myself, Juan, you don't have to meditate every day. Do it once a week. Do it once every 2 weeks. But I'm really finding this pull to meditate. I feel like I need it. I think I really, really need to meditate. And that's just a me thing. I'm not saying that's for everyone else to follow as well. I'm not saying you have to meditate every day. This is just me. Sorry, let me say that again. This is just me. I'm so excited for this podcast episode, apparently, that I'm losing my words. This is just me. I feel like I need to go back to meditating every day. And I think through meditation and some journaling, I will be better equipped to expand who I am as a person, expand who I am as a psychic medium, and expand who I am as a business owner. There's another thing. A part of expanding myself as a complete, just mind, body, soul of a person, I've joined a theater program. Not program as in like schooling or college, a local community theater production program. So I'm going to be in a theater production soon. And we're launching that in the next couple weeks with rehearsals and things like that. And it's the first time I've done something like this on a public level in some years. I was part of a few theater productions in 2017, 2018, but it was for much more of a closed group of an audience, not so open to the public, whereas this is very open to the public. And I'm really excited about it. So y'all are going to see Juan Francisco in an off Broadway show coming soon. And I'll promote it. I'll promote it when the tickets are on sale for the show. But this is part of me tapping into my inner child self, part of me fostering my love for creativity and theater and acting and singing and musicals. And I've learned through my mentor, Daisy, that I had, who is from the shop Earth Angel Crystal. She owns Earth Angel Crystal, is also an energy healer and psychic medium. I learned from her as a mentor how important it is to embrace and love and listen to our inner child and help heal our inner child. And me joining a theater program is a way of doing that. And I wonder, and I do not doubt that by doing things like that, it's going to make me a better psychic medium because I'm living my authentic life a little more than I did a year ago. Expansion. Expansion is the key word for me this year. That's what I'm feeling. And I just want to say that if you're feeling concerned about 2024 because in the United States, it is a huge political year. This may be one of the most important presidential elections, one of the most important we'll have in a long time. There's a lot to feel stressed out about. There's reason to feel stress and anxiety about things like that. And what I'm taking into 2024 with me that maybe will help you too is, for me, what's working for me is I'm just going to focus on my own street lane. I'm going to focus on what can I control, what can I do for myself and for the people around me. How can I be fair to myself? How can I be fair to other people? How can I make sure people are being fair to me too? That I'm getting the respect that I put out to other people. What is within my control? And I go back to the serenity prayer, which is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's such a beautiful prayer, and it has so much truth to it, because acceptance is one of the hardest things we have to do. And sometimes we have to accept that there are things that are outside of our control. Of course, we can vote in this election. I'm definitely voting, and I hope that if you're in the United States that you vote, because it does matter. I really do believe it matters. Recent history has shown us that it matters to vote. That's within our control. That's within my control to vote. But whatever else happens is outside of my control. And the best thing I can do is do what I can and also focus on myself. Because by focusing on myself, and not in an egocentric way, by focusing on yourself and healing and helping yourself, you'll be just more open. And there's a way to do that while also being open to letting other people heal themselves. Everyone's on their individual journey. And the more we let ourselves be our authentic selves and heal our inner child and help us through those moments that trigger us and help make us feel icky, all with the goal of being a better person, letting our highest self show through. The more we do that, the more we allow other people into our lives who are doing the same work, the more we allow other people to show up as themselves, the more clear we are in our communication with other people about boundaries and about what we want or need in a relationship without making it all about us, because we know that they're on their own healing journey too. They're on their own journey of self-fulfillment, and we are respecting that because we know what that's like, because we're doing it too. So this is what I'm hoping for myself this year, is to be even more aware of that, to step even more into that space. And I feel so blessed and lucky because I feel like I have people in my life who are on that journey. Not everyone is in my life. Not everybody is. And at the same time, for those who are not on that journey, or not proactively, let's say, we're always on a journey, who are not proactively in a journey of authenticity and self-fulfillment, it doesn't matter, because I love them anyways, because I'm on my own journey. I don't need them to be on any kind of journey for me to love them or have them in my life. And I know their intentions are good. And by me focusing on myself in that way, I am therefore open to understanding that not everyone is on the same type of journey, and that's okay. And I love them anyways because of who they are. And that's love. That is love. And I'm stepping into 2024 with a romantic relationship. That is the biggest change that has happened for me in the last almost a year. I met him 9 months ago. So it'll be almost a year since I've met him. And it's been such a blessing, because this relationship, I'll be very honest, and it's something I'm very open about. I'm in therapy. I'm in a mental health group. And those two things, plus the inner child work I did with Daisy as my mentor, these things combined have helped me understand that there are things in my romantic relationship I would usually want to run away from. But I'm telling myself, nope, stay put, because this guy, he's a good guy. You love him, and you see something really wonderful here. So don't run away. There is no danger. And by staying put, and it's not about forcing myself, it's about encouraging myself. Because of course, for anybody in a relationship where there is actual danger, threat of being harmed by somebody, of course you need to leave that. But sometimes, for those of us who are very anxious and who overthink, we can make something so small that is not meant to hurt us. It's just something that triggers us. We can make that a big threat. And as someone like myself with obsessive compulsive disorder and anxiety, I have the tendency in relationships to make little things big threats. And by being in this relationship, I can honestly say that this man that I'm with, he has helped me understand myself more. It's not that he's the reason I understand myself. He is one of many reasons in my life right now that I'm understanding myself more. We're here to be human. We're here to experience human things. And by experiencing those human things, like romantic relationships and the people within those relationships that we're in, family, friends, people at work that bug us, people at work that make us happy. These are things that help us to realize our true self more, help us on our soul journey, help us to discover things about ourselves, all with the goal of getting back to our highest self. And we have the decision to take those things that lift us up or bring us down. We have the decision whether or not to take those things and make them inspirations or anchors that keep us down. That's easier said than done, because I'm not saying that bad things happen to us for good reasons. I don't know that. I'm not God. And that's very insensitive of me to say. It's something I believe to a certain extent, but it's hard for me to say it out loud, because there are terrible things that may happen to us I wouldn't wish on anybody. But I can only speak within my experience that I look back at the mistakes that I've made in my life, the people I've hurt, the way I've really, really hurt myself big time. And I can look back right now and say, with pain in my heart, that I'm grateful for everything that's happened in my life up to this point. I wish it didn't happen, but I know I am who I am today because of all that. And I'm not making any comment on anybody else's life and how they feel about the things they've been through, the things they've done, the things that have been done to them. I'm talking just about myself. That's how I feel about myself. And so I'm going off on a tangent, but coming back to this example, being in this romantic relationship I'm in, it has really shown me that I have a lot of worth to me. I should value myself more than the way I've valued myself in the past. And I always have to remind myself And it's not that I think of it this way and I have to remind myself. It's easy for that to sound like, oh, the person I'm with is what's making me feel valuable. That's a whole other story. It's not that I'm seeking validation from this person. It's that they are reminding me that I am valid already, and that's why they love me. And whether it's a romantic relationship, a job, a friendship, maybe someone you don't like too much, there are different ways that Spirit and God, the universe, the way that they show us, remind us that we're valid, could come in the form of a person who bugs us or a person who loves us. And maybe it's up to us to kind of decode that. And I think through this romantic relationship, I've been able to decode that and let myself see that I am worth it. And I'm very grateful for that. I still have a long way to go. I still sometimes have my days when I think I am, as I say, when I think I am shit. And then other days when I think I am the shit. So I take it to 2024 a lot of gratitude that I have more days now when I think I am the shit. And it's because I've decided to take a leap and partake in this romantic relationship with this man who is really, really awesome. And I hope that I can take this feeling of being valid within myself and seeing my own self-worth, because now I'm understanding, wow, I am worth it on my own. And it took me meeting somebody to remind myself of that, plus therapy and my mentorship and my mental health group that I'm part of. It took time. I'm 31. I'm turning 32 this year. And I've been feeling this way about myself since I was a teenager, like 13, devaluing myself. And it's taken this much time, but it's because I've been open to love. And I'm just so grateful for that. I can't stop thinking about that and saying it. And I'm going to be so annoying to many of you right now, but you don't need a relationship to show you that. This is just what the universe has decided to use. It's what I've decided to use. I didn't have to get into this relationship. I could have kept saying, screw men. I'm tired of men. I'm tired of gay men. I'm done, which is what I was saying a year to 2 years ago to my therapist. I was done. I was annoyed with men. But then I thought, you know what? Let me give people a chance. Let me give somebody a chance. And I did. And I met him. And there have been times when I'm like, I'm not worth this. But then through working on myself and my inner child, I have learned, I am worth this. I am the bee's knees. And so going back to what I was about to say before, all this work I've been doing on myself, that I'm going to continue to do on myself, that's going to continue to be difficult and challenging, that's going to continue to have its ups and downs. I could take this work I'm doing on myself and let it spill into my psychic mediumship work in a way that reminds me that you're a psychic medium. You can channel people's loved ones. You can talk to your own loved ones. You got this, because sometimes I doubt my ability. And that's very normal. It's taboo maybe to say that because we're supposed to be super confident that we can contact the dead. But I still sometimes doubt my ability. It takes a reading to remind me this is real. It's in between readings when I'm like, is this real? Then after a reading, this is real. So I can take this confidence that I'm building in my life outside of my mediumship work and let that confidence spill into my mediumship work. And you're going to see more of that. I have a feeling. And right now, as I'm saying that to you, I feel 80%, 70% of that. But my intuition is wanting to tell you, you're going to see me expand my confidence, grow my confidence rather, and expand myself into new areas this year. This episode is all over the place. It became a hodgepodge of a lot of topics. But I'm just going to bring it back before I announce some cool things that are going to happen this year. I'm going to bring it back to the key word I'm going to say for the last time: expansion, expansion, expansion. I'm ready to expand, and I'm inviting you. I sound like a guru, a health guru, or not a health, a self-help guru. I'm inviting you to join me. Literally though, I legit, I am on a journey of expansion this year, and I am ready. And I hope that you feel inspired to expand this year also. You feel inspired to see how worthy you are, that you feel inspired in knowing that you can connect to your loved ones. You can love somebody and trust that they love you. You can love yourself. I know that's so cheesy, and I was never a fan of that kind of talk before. But actually feeling the love that I have for myself more in the last year has helped me understand that I can love myself more than I did 2 years ago. It's possible. And I can say I love myself without feeling like I'm cringing because I think it's cheesy. It may sound cheesy, but it really isn't. I honestly think it is we can survive in this life without loving ourselves. We can, but it is hard to live that way. And I'm learning that it is an almost necessary thing for living a life of fulfillment. And I want you to feel inspired to feel that. I want you to feel inspired to expand this year and have that expansion include seeing how valuable you are and that you don't need anybody else's opinion or anyone else's yes for you to know that you are gifted, that you have the ability, that you have a talent, that you are worth an amazing conversation to have with, that you are worth sitting next to at dinner. That is what this year is going to be about for me. And I really wish that for you. I wish for you, again, this is a very cheesy episode. I feel like Oprah in this episode. But I'm just going to close my eyes for a moment. And those of you on YouTube can see me close my eyes. I'm asking God, I'm asking the universe to inspire you, the listener, to want to expand this year, to want to love yourself this year. And if you don't prefer the phrase love yourself, let's just say this. I'm asking God, the universe, to help you to appreciate what you offer, not only to other people, but to yourself. That you understand what a valuable person you are. I almost hit my microphone. I just shocked myself hitting my microphone. That you understand what a valuable person you are. That's what I ask the universe to show you this year. That you learn this year what it is that brings you joy, and that through that thing, that hobby, that interest, that passion, a simple activity could be walking, meditating, running, playing bowling, I don't care what it is, that through whatever activities you take on, through whatever hobbies that make you happy, things that bring you joy, that you feel yourself in that moment within your human body, enjoying that moment, and you get that feeling of like a sigh of like, this is living, and this makes me feel like I'm in the right place right now, and therefore I am valuable in this moment, in this place right now. I am worth being here. I hope any or all of that makes sense to you, the listener. That just came out of nowhere. I should write these things down before I say them, because I don't know if I made any sense just now, but I just want you to feel inspired. And I would love to have you on this journey with me of expanding ourselves and stretching ourselves, pursuing our passions and our joys, and through those things, seeing how much value we have as souls, as humans. We're meant to live this life valuing ourselves. And by doing that, seeing the value in other people, because we know we're not alone. We have other people around us who are also seeking to value themselves. They just don't know it. So, updates for 2024. There are a few things that I'm excited to announce, and I've teased them in my last episode of 2023. In February, there's going to be a night with Juan Francisco, which is, it sounds generic, which is a night with Juan Francisco will be group platform mediumship rather, where I will be on Zoom with 20 to 30 of you, and I will be giving readings to people at random. And it will be maybe an hour to an hour and a half in February 2024, which is in just a month to 2 months, depending on when it's going to happen. I will be announcing this first in my newsletter and on the Third Eye broadcast channel on Instagram. So if you haven't already, if you want to get first dibs at tickets and get the first update on when this will happen with a link to tickets, go to my website, juanfranciscospirit.com, and you should be able to sign up for my newsletter at the very bottom of the entire web page. It should be on every web page, the newsletter sign up form at the bottom of every web page. And you can also first find out about the ticket link and when it's going to happen this night with Juan Francisco by going to my Instagram account and joining my broadcast channel, which you can find on my profile, my Instagram profile. It should be called Third Eye Broadcast Channel. So the newsletter or my broadcast channel on Instagram are the ways you're going to first find out when it's going to happen and the ticket link. And then a week or two after that, I will be telling everybody, announcing this to everybody with the public link. So you're going to get like a pre-sale link. I feel like Taylor Swift here. I mean, you're going to get a pre-sale. You're going to get a special pre-sale link for those subscribed to my newsletter and who are following or part of my Third Eye broadcast channel. Another update I want to share, and this is something, if it were me last year saying this, I wouldn't be telling you this at all because I have nothing planned for this. No syllabus, no curriculum, no outline, but I'm just going to say it and I'm just going to manifest it because I feel very confident this is a year for me to teach. Sometime this year, I'm going to be teaching about tapping into your intuition. I have 3 years of experience tapping into my intuition. I'm not going to be going into anything advanced because I have not developed myself enough to go to the advanced kind of stuff like psychometry, but I can at least provide the basics on how to tap into your intuition and offer it as a class. And I just feel very inspired to teach this year. So if you're very interested in learning how to tap into your intuition, stay tuned for an announcement about a class I'm going to do. It'll probably be an hour to 2 hours, not too long. I'm going to price it in a way that's affordable, not crazy expensive, because I don't think that things like that should be very expensive because we all have intuition. It's not something you just buy through you can't buy your intuition through my class. The class is going to help you discover your own intuition or rediscover it, tap into it, or to give you the tools of how to do it outside of the class. So stay tuned for that. So 2 things, a night with Juan Francisco in February and an intuition class sometime this year. If you have any thoughts on that, if there are things you want me to address as a service, as a class, if there are questions you have for this podcast, ideas you have for this podcast, send me an email, send me a DM. You can send me a note through my contact form on juanfranciscospirit.com. You can DM me on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. I'm all ears. And you know already that I will read people's emails if they have a question that I think warrants a really great conversation on the podcast. So send your emails. Well, I hope that this podcast episode made sense to you all because I went through a lot of rabbit holes and went to a lot of different corners of this room of this podcast for the new year. I don't know what I already forgot everything I said because it was a blur. So maybe it was all inspired. Seems like inspired and expansion are the major keywords of this podcast episode. So very appropriate for a new year, right? Well, I'm excited for the rest of this 2024 year, and I'm excited for you to be on this journey with me. Thank you again. I almost forgot to mention, we reached 10,000 downloads of Third Eyesight in December. Amazing. You have helped me get to 10,000 downloads. So I want to thank you so much for supporting me, for sharing this podcast with your friends and family and your loved ones, for sharing it with people who may be skeptical about this stuff but are open to it. I have received beautiful notes and emails from people about how much they love this podcast, and I just can't thank you all enough. I am just a guy, as you can see on YouTube, in his studio apartment with his bed behind him, no fancy background, a simple microphone that I almost bumped into 10 to 12 minutes ago, and I have 10,000 downloads on my podcast. I'm so grateful, and I'm getting emotional now. A lot of emotions in this podcast today. I just feel like I just remember when I first started this podcast, and I thought, I wasn't sure who was going to want to listen to this, but I knew that I was passionate about this topics rather. It's not just the supernatural that I talk about. It's about being a psychic medium and talking to other psychic mediums and energy healers. There's so much to this podcast that I am passionate about, and I wondered who was going to listen to it, but I almost didn't care because I cared so much about these topics. And I had that experience in my tarot reading that helped me discover I'm a psychic medium. That experience is what made me think I need to delve more into these topics and learn more about them and talk to people who are interested in these topics or who are experts in these topics. And here we are, 10,000 downloads later in just over 2 years of the podcast. I'm so excited for what comes next. And this is my podcast, but this is also your podcast because you're the listener. So I'm always open to ideas of what you want me to talk about and who you want me to bring onto the podcast to talk to. And if you have an experience of seeing a ghost, of tapping into your own psychic abilities that really surprised you, I want to hear from you. And maybe we could have you on the podcast. So let me know. Cheers to 2024. And I send you all the blessings and love in the world. And I hope that you feel all the love of your loved ones and your friends on the other side and your guides. Thank you all. If you have a question or topic you want me to cover on Third Eyesight, head to my website, juanfranciscospirit.com/contact, and send a message my way. If you really enjoyed this episode, leave a review wherever you listen. I'd really appreciate it.